journey continues. You find a rusted husk from a time long gone. A wall of sprawling pipes and vents which towers above you. Steam lightly emerges from its sides in various ducts. You may be lost. And so, you stop to ask a traveler for direction. The person is calm, yet he seems taken back by your presence. With a long, raspy breath, he responds in a voice with an accent you cannot quite place, and which I will not even attempt to replicate.
Directions, huh? Ha! No one used to need directions way out here. Of course, back in the day, there was just about only one way to go. Now you've got all the capitals and cities and whatnot. I'm sure they're great, just haven't had the time to visit them myself. I mean, someone's got to take care of this old rust bucket.
He places his hand against the mighty wall.
That's what the sailors used to call it,
He says.
a rust bucket. Of course, the wall wasn't so rusty back then. Still shiny mostly. The copper was new. And mind you, I don't remember when it was built. Give me a little credit here. I'm old, but not that old.
He chuckles.
Yeah, believe it or not, the whole thing was quite the sight way back in the day. Back in the steam age. Yeah, Zeppelins and whatnot. A little outdated by your standards, I'll bet. But this place, it was ahead of the time. Hell, probably more ahead of the time than times are now. They used to have desalination tanks lining the waterfront. Can you believe that? People today is more concerned with preserving energy than water. Forgive me, I like to ramble about back in my day and whatnot. I remember back in my day, we thought the old folks who said back in my day wouldn't be us. And just look at us now. No, me. Look at me now.
The man has ignored your question, it seems, but you don't want to be rude. After a short silence, which seems to last forever, you ask him about the wall.
Sorry. I believe it was made to keep out storms,
The man says.
water spouts and such. If you can believe that, that is. Rains haven't been around here in quite some time, though. That's not all it did, of course. It's like a big, amalgam of ideas. Vents, cooling ducts, water, gas, steam, you name it. They even had a couple sewer lines in some of those pipes. Don't go breaking them open now.
The man laughs at his own joke. It's a laugh that feels warm and comforting, even underneath all that armor plating. After a long breath, he continues his story.
They run for miles in both directions. Makes a nice little closed circle around the city, all the way to the ocean on either side. I think it's about time I started headed that way myself. I hope you find your way, young'un.
The traveler tries to leave, but you still have more questions. You ask him what he is doing out here.
Oh, well, I monitor this wall, you see. Someone's gotta survey the city of the future.
That title seems to amuse him, though it is hard to tell if it's an ironic joke or self-deprecating in some way.
Yeah, that's just a sample of the many names they gave this town.
The man continues.
I always just called it home myself. Of course, my colleague didn't much agree. Leave it to him to see the downside. But no, I still get paid to watch the walls. City council, or whatever's left of it that ain't skipped town, they pay me. Mostly, I just check on the electronics these days. Satellites, receivers, emitters, what have you. I remember even back then I watched this wall, making my way around. Back then, all you needed was a blanket and a wrench to keep you company. Yeah, you'd spend your days checking leaks, tightening bolts, writing reports. Hell, sometimes you'd even have to stop someone from scavenging parts from the damn thing. That was how I met my former colleague in the first place. Good guy. Good guy.
You comment on how peaceful it must have been.
Yeah, but of course life wasn't always easy back then. This still had plenty of trouble, you know. Troublemakers. Thieves. Bounty hunters. Colts. It's the reason I still wear this armor.
The traveler taps the armor twice with his fist. No doubt it is impressive and would likely withstand the blast from most modern weapons. And yet, the hollow clank his fist makes against it reveals that he does not quite fill it out as he once may have. As your train of thought takes you away, you realize he's still talking and may have taken note of your staring. With slight offense in his tone, he says,
Not that I need it much, as of late. I'll tell you, though, when there was trouble, there was trouble. And you bet I would stand up and fight for this place if I needed to. We didn't survive. I didn't survive. Everything just to die.
Tensions seem high, and so you change the subject to something you might enjoy. You ask him of the city.
God, it was beautiful. Back in the day. I remember when it would rain, and that smell of the steam and the earth. Hustle and bustle of everything, everyone. Apartments were a sight. Most of them had these bubbled glass roofs with little intricate decorations and carvings. The metal was still colored and bright with paint. Little details like that, and I miss those little things. Gone.
The man seems in a daze, staring at something. It's hard to tell what it might be, though, with his helmet on. The silence is broken yet again by his rough voice.
Well, leave it to an old man like myself to go off on some history lesson. Steam Age definitely wasn't the most interesting time. Not as taboo as some of the other time periods. Plus, you probably didn't even have a Steam Age where you're from. It seems I spent a whole lot of time telling others how important it was. That's all it is now. It was.
The traveler's 1,000,000 miles away. It feels like hours have passed since he's spoken. Perhaps he reached a revelation of some form, but the silence has been drawn out long enough now, and without anything further to add, you decide to leave. You turn to go, only to hear that voice once more.
So, where are you headed?
Taken back by the traveler's sudden interest, you're almost unsure of what to say. What can you say but the truth? And so you tell the traveler of your long journey ahead.
Well, ain't that something?
He responds.
Sounds nice out there in the world. Hopefully you find what you're looking for. But I doubt it's in that city. If you just need a place to rest, though, it makes for a good pit stop. I can tell you that if you follow the wall that way, you'll eventually find the entrance. There's still a couple places open, and I'm sure would be happy to have you. You have a good day now.
You cut him off before there's a chance for him to leave, and you ask him if you'd like a ride. Even under all the wraps and plating, you can tell he's stunned. Perhaps because no one has asked him a question like that in a long time. Or perhaps because he's not quite sure where he would go. Yet he responds, nonetheless.
You know,
He trails off for a moment.
No. No, but thank you. Too late for me to hit the road, I think. I think I'll call it a day soon. I'm getting tired of carrying this old wrench and blanket. Could put at least one of them to use.
This time you both laugh at his joke, and with a happier tone, he continues.
Besides, my colleague's waiting for me somewhere out there. And, I think I'd better join him for a nap. Take care now, folks. You keep on carrying on.